Okay, so regarding the assignment, the unit testing app, I am going to download the skeleton, and you have to read the requirements in the doc file. There is a YouTube video, it's a very good one, and you read the related npm commands, node package manager commands. So just let me give you a brief overview. Um, so I download the zip file. I go to my Explorer and I unzip it. So it opens, and then I open my Visual Studio Code editor, not the whole studio, just the editor. And if I have to open it the textbook way, I'll just close everything and then go to open folder and find the place where I downloaded and unzipped the skeleton, and I open. And if I expand, I get to see some JavaScript extension file. There is a solution.js file where you'll be writing your solution. Now, just to tell you briefly about this folder and the app, it has got some other files, package.json file, which contains the dependencies, what libraries and resources need to be installed for this app. It contains those information in brief. So now I'm going to go to terminal, new terminal, and I can do pwd to check my present working directory. Then I can do ls, and I see there is an src folder. So the Node app has this source folder, and make sure you are located in the same level of this folder. Then the first thing you do for any Node app is you type npm install. What this command will do is read the dependency file, and it will install all the necessary resources for this app in a new folder called node modules, which is not there. So once I hit the command, it will create that dependency folder to make the app ready to run. So I hit enter, and you can see the node modules folder appeared. It's a huge folder, so usually for app migration you do not include this. Okay, now you're ready to test. So the way the assignment works, we provided unit test skeleton, and modern standard is that as a software developer, if you write any piece of code, you're the owner, you should write a unit test immediately, so that any other developer making change later to the same code, and the unit test doesn't pass, then there is a problem that he shouldn't have modified the way he modified. And it's a good practice. So we supply you the unit test skeleton, and you write your code in the solution.js file. First you write your name and ID, and then you read the requirements and you insert your code in the appropriate place, basically filling out the function requirements. Okay, so you see function greeting and so forth. So, and the comments are the requirements. It is to give you an example. If you have let's say you write a function that adds two integers, a and b, and once you finish writing, how would you test it? You'll probably send two parameters 2 and 3, let's say, and then you check whether the output returned by your function is 5, because 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and if it matches, then the unit test passes, otherwise it fails. So that's the same concept here of all these 10 problem, 11 including 0 0. So how would you test? if you read the requirement, the command is npm run test, and let's say problem 00 dot test dot js. That is what the first problem we are testing, and it should say whether it passed or failed, and it says it failed. It should all pass or green. And if we look into the output, it says we received the code you have written, hello web2.2 student, but it is expecting hello web2.2 student, and at the end there is an exclamatory symbol, and the function is greeting. So if we look into problem 00, that's the function. It takes a parameter and then it adds hello before it, and it returns the string, and the tick symbol here means you have to consider it as an expression that contains as a variable who you deal with the value, not as literal string. So it's adding hello, but it forgot to add this exclamatory symbol, and that's why it's failing. So a quick fix would be that here I add this exclamatory symbol, and then since I made the change in the file, I do save, and there is a shortcut you can do that. Let me clear my screen first, and then I test again the problem 00, and this time it passes. Nothing is red, everything is green. So I just fixed the problem 00. So that is how you're gonna read the requirements, and in the comments you have the requirements, and write your code in between. So for instance, problem 01, this is the function 2 camel case. That's where you're going to write your code, and then once you finish you're going to test it this way, each problem, and since I didn't add any code, it fails. This is a good practice because software testing, I say to my developers, should go side by side. If you written one line of code taking 5 minutes, you should take equal amount of time or more to test it immediately. Not you fill out your whole page with code and trying to figure out what's going on. So this is testing. This testing should go side by side. It's not about excuse me, alpha testing, beta testing, white box, black box, stress test, or load testing. It is pure testing as you're coding. Okay, so now let's say you finished all the problems and they all pass, then you just do npm run test, and all should be green. Now I haven't fixed anything. Let's say all passed, and then you're ready to submit. Do not submit this solution.js file only. You need to submit reading the requirement. There is a command called npm run prepare submission. I believe that's the one. npm run prepare submission, and as soon as you do that, it's going to create a submission.zip file, and you only submit that. So let it go, and you can see this submission.zip folder file appears. So you only upload this one. So if you look into the folder, it should have added this compressed submission.zip file, and you only upload that. So what it does, of course it has the necessary source files, and it has got the dependency file, but not the big node module folder. You do not include that when you migrate a node app. So it's basically every time you run a node app, you do npm install, and that will read from the package file and include the resources or dependencies. Okay, so this is how you're gonna submit. Please do not just submit me the solution.js. You need to follow. You need to test all of them and upload the submission.zip file. Now, coming to the some of the sample solution, I have some sample solution. Happy to discuss few. You're gonna write the code, fill it out. So problem number one, if you read the requirement, it is basically again taking a string, returning with some string manipulation. In fact, most of the problems are JavaScript string manipulation, and it gives you good practice with JavaScript coding. So it takes a parameter like this, and if you have an underscore, it deprecates or deletes and concatenate the later part, but camel case, that is the first letter is capitalized. Okay. Now, this is not the only way of doing it. I'm just showing you some sample solution. There are tons of ways of doing it. As long as it passes the unit test, that's all it matters. So you'll be learning these two upper, two lower, to convert a character into uppercase, lowercase. Then plus is concatenate, slice. It can capture from the start point to the end wherever you ask to slice a string. So the first character we are converting to uppercase, and the remaining starting from 1, it starts from 0, so the index is 1 means second index, and the remaining you slice it and concatenate as it is. That's very easy to understand, right? And you'll be learning the split built-in method of JavaScript screen object. Now this is a typical problem 1 solution. If you go to problem 2, this is again some string manipulation. There is a new concept I'm using here, is closure, which you'll be learning that JavaScript allows a function implementation inside a function. That's why it's called closer. So this is the inner function, this is the outer function, and outer function can invoke the inner function. This is what happening here. Basically, you're also building a string, an HTML tag. Now, you don't need to know what HTML tag is, just consider it as a string that you're building in what format. Okay. And there are, I'm using different built-in methods of string trim and includes that will trim the beginning and trailing spaces, and includes checks whether any character is included or not. There are starts with, ends with. There are different built-in functions available. Anyway, this is another typical solution using the concept closer, that it could be a complete implementation of a function inside another function. Okay. Problem number 3, dealing with date and time, and dealing with date object of JavaScript. And again, I'm using closer concept. There is an inner function, and the outer function can invoke inner function. So this is the inner function, outer function is invoking, and this is regex. There is a built-in method called test that does literal match and returns true or false. Now this may be new, that the square bracket is array, and it got 3 elements. Now there is a split method in JavaScript that can split a string and give birth to an array. So it splits the string, and the split delimiter is based on this dash or hyphen, and it gets day, month, and year. So it gives birth to an array of 3 elements, year, month, and day, and it can directly populate that array. That's the beauty of JavaScript. Other languages like Python can also do this thing. Now, throw new error. This is probably new. This is like if you want to, um, what do you say, produce an error, the keyword is just throw, and with the help of new keyword throw new, you can create and they say that there is an error occurred, and basically it's just returning a string. Okay. Problem number 4, again dealing with year, month, day. Now in some problem, I believe 1 or 2, you can utilize the previous problem functions you have written. Okay. Okay. Now the new thing in problem 4, there is a try catch block. Now if you do research on try catch, usually it is used to capture any error coming out of a piece of code. So for instance, if you expect that an error can come up, not always, but time to time, because there is a logical bug, then you can put that code block in try catch, and if that error happens, then you handle it in the catch block, which in this case you're displaying or saying that I'm throwing a new error, okay? Basically returning a string sort of thing here. Okay, the switch statement, you know. Problem number 5 is again dealing with the hour, month, minute, and This is just combining. If you read the requirement, that it's checking which range it falls. Based on that, you return your string in hour, minute, and second. Okay, I believe if you read them carefully, this code will make sense. So, few new concept, maybe try catch, throw new error, and the closer concept of JavaScript, that is a function within a function. Those are the few new things. The built-in methods, these are straightforward. Split, slice, and two upper, two lower, and so forth. Okay, problem number 6, again, string manipulation. There are built-in methods to starts with, ends with. It checks whether whatever parameter you supply, the string ends with that or starts with that, and so forth, or include that. Okay, so this is my typical solution. You may be coding different ways as long as it passes the unit test I just showed. That's all it matters. Problem number 7, basically if then else or switch statement. There is some category of input given .txt, rtf, docx, and you say these are text file. If the extension is jpg, jpeg, gif, and so forth, you say these are image file, and so forth. So you check the parameter and you can write your switch statement or if then else and return based on these category. Text, rtf, docs, you return these are text category or image category, and so forth, right? So that's problem number 7. I think I'm gonna stop here. If you're just typing my solution, make sure you test and they work. But again, there's so many different ways of doing it as long as the unit test passes, okay? And you give me the submission.zip file, okay? Not the whole folder with node modules. Okay, so this is just a brief discussion that it's the assignment basically the few concept of closure and mainly the string manipulation or the string built-in methods of JavaScript and some data objects there too. Um, yeah, it's basically string manipulation. You don't need to know what is HTML tag. Just read the requirements and deal with it as a string you're returning. Okay, there are also I have used try catch and throw new error to generate exception or error. Okay, thank you very much. I'll stop here.